Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Monday, June the 23rd, 2025. And not so much an eventful weekend as far as fights go. I know there's a couple there, but nothing big. But we had a couple of press conferences. I've already discussed the first one. Well, they had the second one yesterday in New York. I'll get to that one in a sec. But all I can say is, boys, come on. We're not idiots out here in boxing land. Fair income. Anyway, I'll get to it in a sec. Let's firstly start with on this day. Let's go back to 1969 when Smokin' Joe Frazier beat Jerry Quarry in defence of his world heavyweight title. What a great champion he was. And it was the fight of the year by the Ring magazine, just as something a little bit different there. And it wasn't necessarily a knockout, it was stopped on cuts, which seemed to be the norm in a lot of Jerry Quarry's fights back then. Just had one of those faces that opened up pretty easily, especially when you're fighting the likes of Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali and these types of guys. So that was in 1969. In 1973, Jose Napoles defended his world welterweight title with a win over French challenger Roger Menentry. That was over 15 rounds. In 1984, I used to love this guy, Edwin Chapo Rosario, another one that we lost way too soon. Defended his world lightweight title with a decision win over Howard Davis Jr., the Olympic gold medalist. And he had some great wars, Edwin Rosario, Camacho, Livingston Bramble, Julio Cesar Chavez, one of the very, very good champions in history. Azuma Nelson, speaking of another great champion, Azuma Nelson defeated Danilo Cabrera by TKO in the 10th round. That was for his world featherweight title. Did I say 1986? I think I did. 2001, Oscar De La Hoya defeated Javier Castillo and became the third boxer in history to win the world title in 5 different divisions. What a champion he was. Was he claiming to be in 10 divisions? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. What just an absolute great fighter was Oscar De La Hoya. And also, last one on this day, 2007, the Hitman. No, not that Hitman, the other Hitman, Ricky Hatton. I was going to call him the great English fighter. I don't think he was necessarily great. I think that's a term that probably gets thrown around a little too loosely, I would say. But just probably one of the greatest supported fighters in history was Ricky Hatton. I was fortunate enough to be at the Manny Pacquiao fight where he actually got ironed out, as we all know, in 2 rounds. But the level of support this guy had. Now, apparently it was nothing compared to what it was like when he was in Vegas previously against Floyd Mayweather Jr. And the lead up to that fight was just crazy. And of course, Floyd Mayweather really helped in the lead up to that fight. Manny Pacquiao was and is not really a great fight builder-upper, if that's the word. Just does his stuff. And what was that? When did he fight Hatton? That was 2009, the Pacquiao-Hatton fight. But I just remember being in Vegas and just the whole town was just taken over by Brits. The bars were full, the strip was full, bongo drums and all that going off and singing and chanting. And yeah, it was an experience, one that I'm really glad I did. I've always wanted to get to England for a fight. That's probably the next closest thing to it, have England come to America and be there, even though I was misunderstood to be everywhere I went to be a POM. Everywhere I went, they thought I was English. But anyway, that was, what did I say, 2009. All right, on to the events of the weekend. Now, I don't even know what to make of this. All I can do is laugh. I'm sure you've seen it by now anyway. It was only on a couple of hours ago or whatever, but the second press conference in New York, Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford. I mean, come on, guys. Would you really think we are that gullible? Trying to pull the wool over our eyes to think there's now some animosity between the two. And again, if you didn't see it, they went to the centre of the ring. Very impressive setup, though, I will say, for the press conference. The usual questions were asked, a little bit more expansive than the first one, but nothing really to get excited about, just the usual. But They a massive stage too, massive backdrop and everything. It was really well done. But they went to the centre of the ring, and you could almost see straight away that something was up, because they marched to the centre of the ring almost on cue. Terence Crawford takes a few steps forward, gets in Canelo's face. Canelo then shoves him back. The teams jump in, and just like that, we have animosity in this fight. And well, let's forget about the sit-down dinners and the nice, polite press conference of a day or two ago. Let's just worry about this one where, geez, they must be in business now. I mean, it's the most probably scripted thing I think I've ever seen. Now, I know most press conferences, by the way, or any fight build-up, I mean, I get it. It's part and parcel of the whole selling the fight, and, you know, it's almost a given. It's almost like it's the unofficial playbook that you get. That little bit of trash talking at the table, then you get up, you face off, a little bit of argy-bargy, the teams hurl some insults back and forth at each other, and all of a sudden we're on the way. Now, but the problem is that neither one of these fighters are that way inclined. I mean, Canelo in the past, he's not really that type of guy, is he? Where I know probably the only time I've really seen it is probably the Triple G fights. That's probably the only time I think, oh no, obviously Caleb Plant, where he slapped Caleb Plant. Apart from that, though, he's always been pretty well behaved and just, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll just get in the ring and we'll sort it out in there and we'll just get on with it. That's the sort of fighter that he is. I'll go through the process. Okay, I'll do the face-offs. And they must get so tired of this shit, by the way. I mean, what are they going to do? 3 or 4 face-offs in this one. Then they've got all the weigh-ins and some other stuff they'll have to do where it'll be face-off after face-off. It's very hard to be authentic when you're doing it, you know, so many times. But as I said, Canelo's never really been that guy. Just does his talking in the ring and doesn't really get involved in the trash talking, although over the years it probably has gotten more common with him, but it's never been his style. And Terence Crawford, are you kidding? Talk about Canelo not being that guy. Terence Crawford, you are not that guy. He's always been low-key. He's never been involved in trash talking. He's always just been so... Well, he's always been humble. We all know that. But his demeanour and his personality and whatever you might want to call it has always been just low-key, stay quiet, stay humble. I'll just chill. That's just my style. But to walk out there, well, not really walk out there, did he? He almost charged out there and got in Canelo's face, and Canelo then with a big pushback, and then of course we have everyone start to yelling at each other, and then Bomac got involved, and then we're supposed to walk away like, wow, did you see that? Wow, this is going to be a great fight. Let's forget about the dinner and the nice pleasantries at the last press conference. Now they mean business. A day later, it's really hit the fan now. Let's get excited for September the 13th. I'm only sort of taking the piss here a little bit, guys. I understand the way it works, but I mean, it's one of the most cringy things I've seen. The other cringy thing is there's been a fair bit of memes, if you call them, or just online chatter or whatever about Canelo Alvarez. There's been some pictures of his shoes. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's on the net. It'll be all over social media, I'm sure. But his shoes, is it just me, or they look a little bit taller, the sole of the shoes? They probably look about 2, if not 3 times thicker than what the normal shoe does, at least twice as thick. But the word is he did it just to, you know, make himself look a little bit bigger against Crawford. So, I don't know. Who's the other? Talk about cringe as well, and it's not just this fight, but there's been a few. Is it Rick Reno, the Ring magazine guy, who gets up there, and who is this guy? Mate, get off the stage. No one wants to know you. I know he's the COO or whatever of Ring magazine, and he's got the $180,000 belt. But mate, no one wants to see you. Get off the stage. This peanut with his glasses and his hat and thinks he's actually a player in the business. He's been handled some bullshit title by Turki Al Sheikh to get up there with his stupid belt. Well, I won't say stupid. It's very prestigious, of course, and very expensive. But to get up there with these glasses on, and if you look carefully at the press conference this morning, you'll see that once there's a little bit of order restored, they got separated. by security and everything else. You know, because it was going to be on Canelo and Crawford. You know, they were gonna get it on beforehand and whatever. But they bring them back to the center of the ring. Not center of the ring, sorry. The center of the podium. And watch little Rick Reno on the side trying to muscle his way in there, because obviously he's been told that he's got to get between the fighters, and it's always a shit fight to get in between the fighters. Who can get in the headshot right in the middle of them? You just watch them. That's the sort of thing I look at these days. I mean, most fight fans are looking at the fighters and the belts and the crowd and everything else. I'm looking at the people. Just do it. It's a little bit of, call it a little bit of people watching. Just watch it. When you get a chance, watch everyone just trying to muscle their way in, and they're looking at the screens and make sure they've got the right shot. It's all just just trying to, what's the status thing, I suppose? I don't know. But you have a look at them. It's always a bit of fun. And the best one I've seen is Sean Gibbons. I know I'm getting off track here a little bit, but Sean Gibbons, the manager of, or business partner, whatever he is, of advisor of Manny Pacquiao. He's the king. Watch him. He's the tall guy at the back. He's always just trying to just get himself in the shot. But this morning you got this Rick Reno, and you could see him like, hang on, I'm supposed to be in the middle there. I'm supposed to be in there with my belt, my stupid glasses, and my stupid hat. And you can see him just doing the best he can. I think he'd given up on the fact that he's not going to get right in between the fighters like he normally does. But you can just see him. I think it's Crawford's side. Just watch him. He just starts. He's creeping up as close as he possibly can to Terence Crawford, just to make sure that he's in the shot. But then you've got everyone else thinking the same thing. Well, I've got to get in the shot here. Geez, you know, it's not about the fighters, it's about me and how I can get my head on social media or whatever it might be. It's a pisser. And I know boxing's one big status game. I understand that. It's not my cup of tea. I couldn't give two shits. I've been to lots of press conferences and that sort of stuff, and the last thing I want to do is get my head on TV or in the frame. But a lot of people do. And I thought it was a bit of a laugh anyway. But he'd be devastated. Rick Reno, he would have been all worked up to get into the frame and stand there like he does, looking like an idiot. But the whole thing, I mean, look, Dana White, it was good to see him there. It was good to see him sort of running it a little bit like a UFC event, I suppose. And no matter what you think of Dana White as a person and what he does, he runs a very, very good operation. He really does. I'm not sure whether it was himself and his company that were responsible for the backdrop and everything else, but it was really, really well done. I really liked the way they went about it. And all jokes aside, I mean, that ring belt is beautiful, and it was well done. Apart from the cringiness of the face off and the push and all the rest of it, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. But it was interesting anyway. I'm not complaining. It's going to be on Netflix. They're worried. Actually, the other thing they are worried about is the streaming on Netflix. Now, you remember with the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, there were 65 million households that were watching it at the same time, and we had all sorts of problems. I was lucky; I didn't really have any issues at all from my end, but apparently all over the world there were some major problems with 65 million people watching at the one time. I really doubt we're going to get anywhere near that. Now, I know it's free, so the numbers will be massive. While it might be normally, a normal pay-per-view might be, in this occasion, maybe 1.5 million, maybe, between 1.5, maybe 2, I suppose. I doubt it. But at least around 1.5, I would think it's okay. But when all of a sudden you times that by about 50, or 45, whatever it is, I mean, it's a lot. So Netflix apparently are onto it. We're going to get a little bit of a dress rehearsal when the girls fight next month, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, but I think you're with me thinking that they're not really going to get a massive viewership for that, although you never know. But I would think that if Jake Paul and Mike Tyson got 65 million, you might get, I'm thinking about maybe 20 million might watch it at the same time. So we're not going to have that same traffic as Paul and Tyson, but still, I reckon there'd be a few nervous people at Netflix thinking, geez, we don't want to stuff this up. We're trying to get into the boxing space. Now, in case you're asking, well, why does it happen with Netflix and not with the others? Well, of course, this is a streaming service. If you get it with Foxtel or something, it's through the satellites. This is streaming, and when you got that many households watching, of course, it's gonna test the bandwidth. So, there'll be a few nervous executives there at Netflix. Let's just hope we don't get a repeat of the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson thing. You remember when it froze on Tyson's ass. Remember when he did the interview, he went to walk away and it froze. That for a lot of people. Lucky I didn't, as I said, I didn't have that happen to me, but I feel for the people that it did. But look, end of the day, it is free. So I suppose we have to keep that in mind. But geez, if you're going to put yourself into the space of doing something of this magnitude, you've got to get it right. You've got to get it right. So, all right. So what else have we got happening? We've got it's No Limit. Oh, actually, just one more thing on Crawford and Canelo. Apparently, there is no weight restrictions, no rehydration clauses. Now, that's one thing I will give Terence Crawford a lot of credit for. So, I'm sure you do know, but normally there are things in the contracts where the fighter, in this case it would be Canelo, that the day after the weigh-in, he would not be able to weigh a certain or more than a certain amount. So even though he doesn't technically have to, because it's undisputed fight. If it was just the IBF, then there would definitely be a rehydration clause. Once all the other organisations get involved, that sort of null and voids that. But normally in contracts, that is the case where in a fight of this magnitude, you would think with the fighter coming up so much by 2 weight divisions, there will be something in place. But Crawford has said, no, I don't care. I want him at his best. Come here, man. Come here. Little shit. Just decides to cross the road. But Crawford has said, no, I want him at his best. I don't want any rehydration clauses. I want to take him on as he is. Well, I would think that this is more of a case of Canelo saying, mate, this is the way it's going to be, or you don't get your shot. All right. So you might be one of the best pound for pound fighters in the sport, but I'm holding all the aces in the pack. And Turki Al-Sheikh's the only one that wants this fight. Canelo didn't want the fight in the first place, but money talks. So you would think that Canelo would have said, well, you either let me do my thing, or you don't get the fight, I'll walk away. So it's great that Crawford said that I'm willing to give Canelo all the provisions to do what he wants. I think it's more of a case of Crawford being told just to maybe zip it, I would think. So, but yeah, look, credit to him. And look, I really think he's a massive chance to win the fight. At this point, I'm still going to stick with Canelo, but he's not with a lot of confidence. I just probably want to see a little bit more of Crawford in camp and see how he's carrying the weight and all the rest of it. And I'm a little bit concerned about Canelo's motivation levels, I would think. I think Crawford is motivated because he's going up in weight. It'll be the first 3-time undisputed champion, and everyone's writing him off, so I can see his motivation. And this is his cash-out fight as well, by the way. This is his big payday. So I get that he's going to be super hyped up and motivated. Canelo, been in so many big fights, he's worth so much money. I just worry that the motivation levels aren't there anymore. And we saw a little bit that with Williams School, though. Again, I'll put that down to the fact he was fighting at 7 o'clock in the morning in a foreign country in front of just a few thousand fans with no atmosphere whatsoever. So, and an opponent, of course, that ran the whole time. So I can understand it, and I'm probably going to be more hopeful that that's not the Canelo of today. It was just an aberration, and it was just him who just couldn't be bothered. And I think the fact that some people are giving Crawford a chance, and don't forget the shove's going to get him motivated as well. I think we'll see a lot better performance from him. Now, it is also, fight week with No Limit, and a couple of days. I think the press conference is today at lunchtime, so I'll check that out. I'll do a bit more of a preview of the card tomorrow, but of course I'm talking to Liam Wilson and Liam Paro, the doubleheader. I have checked out their opponents on YouTube. Let's just say they're winnable fights, very, very winnable fights. But I'll have a little bit more look at that tomorrow and the rest of the card. I think the weigh-in, of course, will be tomorrow as well. So it should be good. I like the fact that it's free on No Limit on Fox. I think there should be more of it. And up in Cairns, I'm sure they'll get a really good crowd up there as well. So until then, guys, have a great Monday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.